What's going on, YouTube? Welcome back to another episode of DIY Amateur Hour. I'm still Kyle, and as I showed you last episode, we bought a welder. So in this episode, we're going to use it a little bit and see if we can learn what we're doing. So to begin with, we bought this just a cheap welding helmet from Home Depot. I think it was like $100, but better to go with quality to protect yourself rather than to cheap out on something. Got some gloves, extra wire because we're going to need it, a brush for cleaning off your metal, cleaning up, and this is our 90 amp welder from Harbor Freight. It was like $90. No point in spending $200, $300, $400 on a good welder before we know what we're doing, before we have any skills. Alright, opening up the box for the welder. First thing is instructions. I'm not going to need those. You get more instructions. Don't need those either. And it comes with a very cheap wire brush. I'm not going to use that. Some plastic parts. Looks like a handle and stuff like that. Now we have the welder itself. And looks to be a stand or something. Okay, so we're at the point of installing the welding wire. You take off the top, it's only about 5-6 screws, and you're left with this. So you screw this off, or you unscrew it, depending on where you're from, how you talk. The wire slides on. Alright, so I threw the welding wire on there. Just make sure, if you ever do something like this by yourself, you pay attention to the direction of the feed. Another tip for you, make sure you always feed the wire into the machine before you let go of the wire. Because as you can see, I did, and it unraveled. I spent about 10 minutes having to ravel it all back up. So that's just a DIY tip for you there. So the instructions say take the tip off and take the nozzle off. So there's the nozzle and there's the tip. Simple as that. Now it says turn on the welder. And feed the wire through until it's about 10 inches, or excuse me, about 2 inches out of the end of the gun. So that's what we're going to do here. Alright, it just started feeding in. That's what it looks like there. And so now we'll wait for it to come out the end of the gun here. There we go. So that's a little bit more than 2 inches, but what guy hasn't lied about that, huh? Alright. So now it says keep tightening the wire feed lever, which is right here, until the wire curves about 2 or 3 inches out of the gun. Well, it's as tight as it goes. We'll see how this... Oh yeah, see that curve? That's what we're looking for there. But we'll back off on the tension just a touch. Let's see if I can get you a little bit closer on that. Nope, too far. So, crank it back up all the way. And see if you guys can see this feed here again. You can see how it kind of bent at a weird angle. That's exactly, according to the directions, that's exactly what we're looking for. So, we'll leave that like that. We'll turn it off and we'll put this thing back together. Alright, so I realized I never opened up the welding helmet. So, we'll open that up and see what we got here. So first impressions on this helmet, it's plastic, it's cheap, it's not quite what I expected for almost $130, but as long as it blocks out the bright light from welding, I guess it really doesn't matter. My only complaint is with the head brace, it's in the way. If you can see right above those buttons and everything is where the batteries go. It's kind of difficult to put the cover back on, but it's a small issue. We'll go ahead and take off the protective film off. What's funny is, you can see I only have the brightness on my phone up about halfway, but it's more than enough to set off the auto dimming feature on this helmet. So, see if we can get a good video of it here. Alright, as you can see, we got our two pieces of exhaust here. I haven't cleaned up the edges or anything. This is just a test for see if we can connect or complete two pieces of pipe together. I just have them connected with two pieces of painter's tape here, or whatever. So we're gonna give this a shot here. Just go for it and see what happens. Alright, so we're done welding, at least for the time being. And so you can see, none of these welds are pretty by any stretch of the imagination. But the pieces are connected. Those are, and the wire speed is almost as low as it can go. It's like 2 1/4 there. So, in conclusion, today we used our chop saw for the first time. You guys saw me use a welder for the first time. You got to use my welding helmet. My welds aren't pretty by any means, but the piece is solid. It's not going anywhere. We got work to do. I think it's mostly technique. And looking at the footage, I realized how dark this spot in the garage is, so we will have to work on that. This is where the workbench is. So, until next time, if you got any tips, tricks, or comments, let me know, because I can't do anything if you don't ask for it. Remember, you can always DIY.